A true feminine woman would not go after two men like that. Two men. Kevin have over 1 million subscribers and lead attorney page is growing. No, you're 46. You don't have the top pick. You can't just choose whatever man you want whenever you feel like. When you're all washed up, dried up, your eggs are powdered, then you can go out and just choose a man. A feminine woman will not air her dirty laundry. She will not pick fights with a man in public. It was Rebecca Lynn Pope, and she revealed herself being that snakeful woman that she is. Miss Rebecca Lynn Pope already lost credibility when Kevin Samuel's video went viral, disrespecting well, like if you're not going to respect anybody in the space, you respect Kevin Samuels and you respect the lead attorney. Read your history, young lady. And no shade to anybody, but even the passionate woman on the Lapeef network, whenever Kevin Samuels call up, they're quiet.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to my channel. Today, I want to talk about a subject that has been floating around here for the past couple of days now, about fake femininity, about targeting who's real or who's not, talking about respecting each other in the space, talking about the people being called pygmies, people being called different names, and the lack of respect in the community when it comes to women respecting women, femininity coaches, and a lot of women choosing not to follow femininity coaches. And I want to make this video not bashing anybody, but just to educate people on certain things that we can use to better our space, things that we can point out that we can change, and things that would better help women to become feminine the same way how the male space use their platform to help men. As a femininity coach, we should be teaching women how to carry themselves, how to be ladylike when it comes to language, being respectful and kind to one another, teaching them how to sit like a lady, educating them on sexualization and the dangers behind it, teaching them how not to manipulate and provoke men, teaching them how to lose weight rather than talk about their weight, meal preps, telling them to check their hormonal balances when it relates to weight gain, hormonal imbalances, teaching them what hormonal imbalances is, teaching them about their monthly, the best birth control to use, protecting themselves, breastfeeding, waiting to get pregnant before marriage, nutritional options. Teach them how they can approach their husband about how they can help them lose weight when it relates to them eating healthy with them, going to the gym with them, getting memberships. At least in the manosphere, in the red pill sectors, they mention this stuff. They may do a lot of other toxic things, but they still mention to the men what they need to do to become better and healthy and fit. But with the women, it's like a money grab, a repeat of the same talking points. You have to seem like you don't like Black women in order to fit in with the Black male space as it relates to men's problems with us. But femininity coaches can be teaching women about their bodies, teaching women how to raise their children, teaching them how to act and be feminine, teaching them about menopause, a lot of things that we go through as women that doesn't even get talked about because the same things are being talked about. Are we going to keep stereotyping and judging people off of their looks and their demeanor and their tone and base that on their character? Because like a lot of these women said in their previous videos, people can put on a good face, can smile in front of the camera and can tell you what you want to hear, but we don't know what they do in their real lives. Because there's this group of what they would call pygmies, which is a new term that women have been using against other women when they don't agree with them. And I don't really agree with the term pygmy, but I guess a lot of women have adopted that term and turned it into something positive, basically saying that we want to be picked. There's like a pygmy group out there, and you see the title, it says, should unmarried pygmies give dating advice? And there's another video also about pygmies coming in the male space, identifying the fake pygmies or whatnot. So there's certain movement going on with feminine women submissive women being called pick-me's, and now they're calling themselves pick-me's in relation to being picked. And so I've been binge watching a couple of videos here and there, Chantelle Simone videos, other people's videos around the net. And before I get into it, I want to say, shout out to these women out here that are doing good things and sending off good messages. But I do have some advice that I want to give to the ladies. I am a married woman. However, people may determine who should give information as far as if a single woman should be given information versus a woman that's dating versus a person in a relationship or a person that's divorced. I don't think anybody in any certain type of category is eliminated for giving advice. As long as you live, you'll get experience. With those experiences will come you dating someone or being with someone. So anytime you are placing yourself in a relationship and you're interacting with that person and you're learning their behavior and they're learning your behavior, you're becoming accustomed to male and female becoming a union, male and female interaction, male and female differences. And the more we get into those situations, the more we'll have experience to give another person knowledge based on our experiences, because that's all we're doing is giving knowledge based on our experiences and based on what we learn from others. There are people that have been in a relationship for 10 years and people that only been married for 2 years, but that person has more experience because they've dealt with more things than that other person. But that doesn't mean that other person doesn't know a thing or two. But oftentimes I do see in this space that people do look to certain people that they favor for advice. People refuse to listen to their elders. People are refusing to listen to the people that are married. People are refusing to listen to people that are going to give them some sort of substance or some type of fairness in situations that's needed. Because even when you go to counselors are not going to pick and choose who they want to side with. Their mission is to bring people together, and their mission is to be fair and balanced and attack the core situation of what's going on to help better people. People that look for advice, because they have already been broken. They already went through the struggle. They already went through the stress. People that already have it together are not going to look for advice. And what I find in the space is that when a lot of people are commenting, they're asking for advice, they're trying to get clarity, and they're trying to get information, they somehow get dismissed a lot. And they get dismissed because of the surface level conversations that's being having. They get dismissed because a lot of people may not have a lot of experience to be able to answer those questions, and that's okay. But like these women are saying, there are some people out here that are kind of regurgitating the same information that's being put out. Like these ladies are going to be talking about, they're going to be talking about how some people, they will start a platform and they will kind of say the same things that Kevin Samuels is saying, say the same things that the Red Pill community is saying. Their mission is to make this a career so they can make money off of it and not initially to help people. And in order to do that, they kind of have to say those things and they kind of have to be a certain type of way, and they can't break that code, or else it's going to mess up, or else it's not going to align with the people that's saying the same thing, and therefore they won't get support from those people. And I understand people have their hustle. They're going to do what they do. I'm not knocking anybody. When I started my YouTube channel, I didn't intend to start a YouTube channel. I kind of was passionate about a conversation that was going on that related to Kevin Samuels' video with the Average at Best video. And I think that a lot of other people had a lot to say about that as well, because like everybody said, people weren't used to men kind of just telling the truth. They weren't used to men just putting it all out there and just saying how they feel or what's really in their head. Our elders have taught us to be more respectful in certain type of ways, to tell the woman that you're beautiful. Don't just say she's fat, or don't just say this and that. Now we're living in a culture to where we're kind of being blunt about a lot of stuff. And so at the time when that video came out, I kind of binge watched a lot of his old videos, and I seen that he was getting on the men teaching them how to dress, teaching them about different colognes, how to groom themselves and stuff like that. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. There's men out here that's teaching men how to be men, and also what to look out for when it comes to women. And then now he's transitioning into teaching women being submissive and what men expect from a woman and vice versa. But then later on down the line, I seen a bit of certain talking points that I didn't agree with. So I kind of just, stood back from it and left it alone. But I do believe in fairness as far as letting people have their platforms to talk about what they want to talk about. So I never believed in just attacking people just so I can get the views. And if I believe that I did attack somebody, I just took the video down. You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes you're not aware of what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing, and you're believing that you're showing accountability, but it can be looking like something else to other people. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to play a couple of clips because I want other women and also other men to see what a lot of women see. I know what's going on. I know that a lot of femininity coaches in this space are not being malicious, but I think that there's a way you can go about doing things. And like the lead attorney said in one of the videos when he was talking to TJ Randolph, it's about the tone you use. It's about the words you use and about how you do it that's going to come across to the viewers to where they're going to take you serious or not, or if they think that you're really genuine about helping them or not. And I want to play these clips and give my advice towards the end of the video of what could have happened and how things can change to be able to better help our Black women if that's what these women are wanting to do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with this video. Should unmarried pick-me's give dating advice? And then we're going to go from there.
There are fake pick-me women. There are women who are watching certain content creators, binge watching videos in the manosphere and just repeating the talking points. There are. Yeah. All right? Calling it a spade a spade. How do we then differentiate what is a fake pick-me or what is a real authentic pick-me woman who is actually putting in the work and trying to teach? River, how would you suggest that we separate those two? We're also practicing what we're preaching. So if we're making videos as pick-me's, if we're making videos and we're living a certain lifestyle, it's extremely important that those two align. So then coming to the point, how can a viewer know if they align?
One of the biggest things that you can tell the difference between somebody who's just copying talking points and somebody who's really authentic is their ability to elaborate. I think that when a lot of people don't have the ability to elaborate in a situation, they don't have the ability to, be like, oh, well, this, and this, and this, and that, because this. When they just have to say the exact same thing that somebody said. Okay, like Chantelle said, call them a spade a spade. And they're like, yes, it's very important to call a spade a spade. Okay, let's continue. Like,
yeah.
Nothing.
What I think too is because to Jonathan's point, right? In order to spread the message, it doesn't matter the messenger, it doesn't matter who it's coming from.
So like Reva said that in order for a person to tell if you're genuine or not, you can be able to elaborate more on the situation. You're not literally just kind of taking notes and just saying what the other person is saying. Like, these people over here are saying this, so I'm going to say the exact same thing. And most of the time, even YouTube teach you that, okay, it's about the thumbnail, it's about the title, it's about this, that, and the third. So you kind of have to copy what other people are doing in order to get the views. But if you're able to be authentic, use your own experiences and elaborate more on it, people can kind of get where you're coming from. People can kind of know, okay, this is real. I see what she's saying. I see what she's talking about. And I brought this up because, like I said, shout out to these women, but everybody can use some constructive criticism. I have gotten constructive criticism. I had people follow me and unfollow me because I kind of changed the direction of the way things were going. Because one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to start at something and now I'm telling a lie to my followers for something that I don't believe. I didn't want to get caught up into that. I don't think any of these people are bad people. People are doing things for the betterment of their channels, for what they're doing it for whatever drives them or whatever passion that they're doing it for whatever their motivation may be, even if that is to make money. A lot of people are not going to admit certain things, but I didn't want to get caught into teaching something and being stuck in something that I don't even really believe in. And then having to not talk about certain things that I don't believe in because I'm stuck in something. I'd rather just grow my channel slowly and get the right subscribers and talk about the right things instead of getting stuck in something. But right here, Reva said that, you know, you want to try to elaborate on different things. But what I noticed with Chantelle Simone is, and a lot of people are on the outside looking in, and I'm just wanting to give advice. What I see with Chantelle Simone is she talks about a lot of good things, a lot of textbook things, but a lot of those things are not elaborated on. And then you do have a lot of people in the comment section that may be like, okay, I just came to hear your voice. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. And that's true. She has a nice voice and she's beautiful. But I think a lot of the men, they're more concerned with Black women talking about Black women talking about Black women than versus finding a solution. And right here, you're going to also hear them talk about how they see that that's going on.
To follow, what are some things other than the fact that, oh, I like how she looks or I like how she talks? Could be some of the reason we vet to see if these women, other than them being married, what are some other things that these women, these young ladies can look for?
You know, I understand how hard it can be in this YouTube space. It's hard to have conversations because a lot of people will still find a reason not to agree. But the only thing that I can agree that we all can do is kind of respect each other. The more we respect each other, the more everybody will be serious, will take people serious. But any form of disrespect that people see, they'll jump on that. And that's what makes them choose sides.
You know, in again, putting myself under the bus too. How can our audience, how can our viewers trust that what we're saying is not just for monetary gains or not just to grow a platform or anything? What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, I'm so glad that you said that, right? Because here's what women who are just coming into this space do not recognize. Women who are just now all of a sudden have the same talking points again because they want to get monetary gains, whatever the case is. This is actually like a very large level of sacrifice, okay? Because we're saying things that are contradictory to the women, right? That we're the quote unquote sisterhood that we're supposed to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
So women who are just copying, talking points, and they're doing this and they're doing that. I feel like, I like you said, the discernment is not there. It's great. Okay, if you want to measure people on relationship topics by a ring on their finger, that's wonderful. That's completely up to you.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people who have rings on their finger who are not having deeper conversations, and we have to talk about that aspect as well. Mm-hmm. I said it before, I have to say it again. Like, there's a lot of people who are married who are not in marriages that you think are good.
So with that fact, she said that there are a lot of people that are married, they have rings on their finger, that are not talking about the same situations. But the reality of that is there are a lot of married people talking about conversations as it relates to this. Christian based relationship topics that are talking about the same thing. Shout out to Harrison Family Vlogs, TJ Randolph, and Man of Prestige, because these are all married men and women that have platforms and have channels and don't get supported and recognized because they don't have a level of drama or entertainment or visionary eye candy that meets the eye of individuals that do follow certain people's channels for certain reasons. But the difference is they don't have many followers. They don't get supported. They don't get pushed out. Like I said, I'm married. I've been talking about this stuff for about a year now. I kind of had to change up my topics because I wasn't getting views off of what I was talking about. So I switched to something else, but they're not getting supported. They're not getting views. They're not getting all of that because like counseling, and a lot of people are encouraged to go to marriage counseling, and it's a good thing to do. People don't realize and understand how hard this stuff is until they're in it. When I was single, I would never know how hard it is to be with another person for as long as I've been with them. When I was single, I would have never known how a marriage is supposed to be. I can only imagine, I can only assume, and I can only look at other people's relationship and say, I'm not going to do the same thing. But at the same time, when we do work, the work is never done. Like I said in another video, you can do work on yourself, but then once you get with another individual, you still have to learn them. You still have to learn how to be with them. You still have to learn how to share with them. You still have to learn how to pay bills with them. You still have to learn how to do all these things. And it's more to getting with somebody than just, I'm going to be nice to them. There's financial situations, there's communication barriers. There's a lot of things that go on between men and women that we don't understand about each other, that we have to learn about each other. And with that comes respect for each other. But a lot of that stuff is not being talked about or taught. There's a lot of surface level things being taught in the community, only when it comes to men versus women. And this is why a lot of people that are married and have rings on their finger are not getting seen, because nobody wants to hear about that. Nobody wants to hear how to do better. People want drama. People want men versus women. People want entertainment. People want the beef. That's what they want to see. They want to see beauty. They want to see all of that. They don't want to come to some old boring channel that's going to tell them how to get along with each other. That's just the reality of it. So it's not that they're not having the conversations. It's just that the Black community is not really ready for a change. Deep down inside, a lot of people know that, but they refuse to admit that.
Okay, so it's hard to tell. Sometimes you have to look at some people with a magnifying glass. A lot of people were heartbroken about a lot of the people who just came up and who I don't want to say her name, okay? But the lady who just flipped recently, and a lot of people were talking about, a lot of people were heartbroken about it because they couldn't believe that was the mindset that she had, when for all this time she had a different mindset. So,
and it's so funny you brought up Miss April Mason, because I mean, I say names. I mean, because like that. So also to that point.
Okay, so now let's go ahead and get into the April Mason situation and about the femininity and how people may look at other femininity coaches. Okay, so like Chantelle Moore said, April Mason, I say names around here. So with the April Mason situation, I already did a video about that and about a lot of things that I didn't agree with and a lot of things that I elaborate on as well. So I don't want to rehash that. I'll go ahead and place the link down in the description with that breakdown. But there was some talk about April Mason with a couple of reaction videos that Chantelle Simone did about her. You see the one with the snake behind her head. You see the one about toxic femininity. And then there was also a couple of reaction videos from Chantelle Simone video that TJ Randolph and other people also did. And then there was a response video from April Mason as well, which is it says April Mason is a chameleon. Is April Mason a chameleon? And so, like I said, in these YouTube streets, when a person makes a video about something, that person has a right to respond to that, and the other person has a right to react to that. So people are not limited to what they can say or what they can do when they're speaking on subject matters that they're passionate about. So April Mason, she has been making videos for a long time now. For a little over, I think about 13 years, she has been in the community. She's just now reaching at 50,000 subscribers. Danica Marie, she's been in the game a long time too, a couple of years. And she has finally started making her way up there. She's at almost 100,000 subscribers. And then you have like people like Sarah Lena. A lot of these women have been around a long time, even before the Average at Best video blew up. A lot of these women have been doing their thing, and they have been slowly like climbing the ladder. There's another woman out there that gives a lot of good relational advice as well. Jessica Oz. There's a lady named Jessica Oz. She's like at 400,000 subscribers. Excellent advice. Excellent advice. These people have been around for a long time, and it's unfortunate. And also Rebecca Lynn Pope. It's unfortunate that a lot of these women, even though some has risen, some has been staying stagnant, and they haven't been getting the recognition, and they have been working hard on their channels. So I think that when certain people look at a lot of new people coming in space and they're kind of just climbing the ladder, and they are just doing it based on spitting out the same rhetoric that the manosphere or the red pill is talking about, they get a little discouraged. And then they start changing and flip-flopping, and they start doing the same thing because they're like, I've been working so hard, I've been doing all of this. All these people have to do is just switch over, and all I have to say is I don't work with Black women no more, and they'll let me in, which is what happened. She's seen it work with Rebecca Lynn Pope, and then she tried the same thing. That's what I think was happening with April Mason. The downfall was when she made that post adding the lead attorney and Kevin Samuels, which they did let her on the platform. So it just all went left. But like Chantelle said, Simone said, she said that I say names around here, you're talking about April Mason, but let's go ahead and get into that. There is this woman named TJ Randolph. Her name is TJ Randolph, and she does a couple of videos with I Am Courtney Michelle. I Am Courtney Michelle came from the Lapeef show, the Lapeef network, and she left and started her own journey on YouTube, doing similar topics. And so she had TJ Randolph on her show, and I immediately fell in love with TJ Randolph because there's not a lot of older women, especially older married women in the space, that are able to talk about situations. So I kind of listened to her, and I instantly said, I'm going to support her because we don't have a lot of people out here that's doing that. One thing I was told in life is that when you are married, you want to hang around married friends. You don't want to hang around single people. And that's said for a reason, because a lot of single people, they have a lot of free time. They had a lot of more single friends. They have more influence, and they have more leeway to kind of do how they want to do, as opposed to married people want to kind of focus on each other and focus on the marriage, and they don't really have freedom to just go here or go there. And sometimes when married people do hang with single friends, that takes them out of their element, focusing on the marriage when they're hanging out elsewhere in places, or they're living their life like they're free or like they're single. Not knocking single people, but that's just how it happens, that when you're in that type of dynamic, you're more limited to the freedom and the access that you would have had if you were single when you're married. But right here, she's talking about Chantelle Simone and the exchange that she had with her. And I just want to go ahead and play this, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys something. And I want you to see what people are seeing on the outside and how that can look not so genuine when it comes to being a femininity coach in the community.
But it has sparked a lot of conversation. And as I was getting ready for this live that we're doing here, I saw that a young lady, I think her name is Chantelle Simone.
Oh,
yeah. And she's a very, it's interesting because I've watched some of her content, and, I can definitely see some of the things that she's saying and agree with some of the things she's saying. I mean, I don't take anything, I believe in what my mom say, I eat the chicken and leave the bones. So there are some things that, she and other young ladies are saying that I think that are very insightful. So when I saw that she was doing a a reaction to that portion of the video, I thought that I would take a look. You know how it comes up on your algorithm.
Right.
So I looked and I was listening to what her analysis of what Miss Mason was saying, and I just thought I disagreed. And also, I think I wrote something to the effect that, I encouraged her to do her history as it relates to what Miss Mason was talking about, the women of the 40s and 50s and abusive relationships. That is a fact. And I mentioned that not until the 70s was it against the law for a man to beat his wife.
Right.
So I was mentioning to her in my comments that I'm not sure how her articulating her experience, what she saw her mom's experience, and I'm not sure how that was blaming or shaming men. So to which she replied, let me go ahead and pull it up. I don't want to go off memory.
Women didn't have resources to get out of abusive relationships. And then a lot of comments that I read, the men said, and some women, of course, were saying it was the color purple effect as far as with Black women always getting beat. So I think that was a part of the interview that a lot of people had qualms about.
Right.
Right.
And so, I spoke to that, and to which this young lady replied, I'm laughing because I think she intended it to be an insult, but she said, "My heart goes out to old women like yourself."
Okay, I'm just going to stop the video right there. So this video is basically like a reaction to April Mason video, talking to the lead attorney about her experience, I think, with her mother, saying that she didn't want to go back to the 40s and 50s when women didn't have resources to get out of abusive relationships. And as far as like having resources, things back then are different from now as far as resources in itself. We have more government assistance. We have more places that we can go to get help versus before you just had to kind of stay with somebody, even if the situation was abusive. But she wasn't saying that all men are abusive. I think she was talking about a specific topic, but let me go ahead and get on to this. So here's a video right here. Before I read the other comment, here's a video right here where this is a video where she was talking about I'm about to hit the wall, things I wish I knew about men and dating in my 20s. And the video is titled Being Single in Her 30s. But as you can see right here, Miss TJ Randolph said, "Great video and analysis." And I think she commented on the Lapeef video when Chantelle Simone was taking up for herself about being called a pick-me. So it doesn't seem like she's being like a malicious person. I think she initially kind of liked her videos and liked it, the direction she was going. But she just kind of had she disagreed on this video right here. And this was the first video that Chantelle Simone made about April Mason. And I'm not going to play this video right here. I'm just going to play the clips of the other video, but it says toxic femininity traits of April Mason's talking points. Now, the only reason why I'm bringing this up because Reva said that a lot of married women and women with ring on their fingers don't talk about this stuff. And she said that, they need to start talking about this stuff if they want to get the information out there as well. Well, you have a married woman out here that's trying to get some information out here because no information is exempt. Time repeats itself, and we do still have abuse going on out here. We do still have women that provoke men. We do still have women that abandon their children. We do still have men that don't want to take care of their children. We have men and women doing effed up stuff in life that is hurting our children, which is something that we should be focused on when we're trying to fix things. And so everything should be discussed because we're still going through this stuff. And as long as we're living, we're going to still go through this stuff. But she did a reaction video to April Mason's video, basically saying that we should quit talking about this stuff. But then it says right here, I disagree completely, which TJ Randolph did say. She said she disagreed. And she said, Read your history, young lady. A man of any race, not saying just black men, but a man of any race could legally beat their women until the laws were changed in the 70s. I'm not sure what the laws were in the 70s or anything like that, but that's just something we have to do research on. But it says, I was born in 67. How does Miss Mason explaining what she saw her mother experience equate to shaming all men? So she asked, how does one person's experience with one thing equate to shaming all men? So then she says, my heart goes out to old women like yourself who are stuck in your hurt and trauma. Okay, so then it says, no need, sweetheart. I've acknowledged the hurt, but I'm not stuck in it. I've done my work, and after making many mistakes, I'm happily married and wish the same for you. Not this talking point again, a guy says. So then it says, I completely disagree. A lot of guys are commenting. And then Chantelle Simone says the whole conversation is just unnecessary and embarrassing. Terrell simply asks for more context on why you disagree completely, and this is how you respond. As an older woman in this space, I expect better from you. So she said that this topic is unnecessary and embarrassing. She expects better from an older woman. And right here it says, it's obvious you don't know who or what you're talking about. I'm providing all of that more to me, providing all of that and more to both men and women to learn from my mistakes and to have what they desire in parenting, love, and marriage. So try again. So I don't see anything that she's saying that's negative that would look embarrassing or unnecessary to say. So that was that. But then we have another video that she made after that video, I'm guessing to respond to what she said right here and also respond to Cocktails and Conversations with the Lead Attorney. She made another video responding saying men were abusive in the 40s and 50s. So it wasn't left alone. It was kind of like a back and forth exchange. So let me just go ahead and let you hear a little bit of this, and then we're going to read the comments.
That men were abusive in the 1940s and 50s. And this young lady had commented very similar talking points. And I'll post a comment right here as I read. If you guys haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like button. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to help me grow my channel. Now the comment reads, read your history, young lady. A man of any race could legally beat their woman until the laws were changed in the 70s.
All right, so y'all get the picture. She responded to TJ Randolph. She said that she was not providing any information that was going to be beneficial of what she was talking about, and said that the conversation was unnecessary and embarrassing. But then TJ comes and comments below and says, good evening, Chantelle. I'm wondering why you didn't display the entire exchange. I would love to further discuss your point of view. Feel free to call tonight, or we can, I guess she's saying we can have a show together. And then she says, I respectfully decline your invitation as I am not familiar with you or your content. And from what I can gather from your comments, including that Cynthia G comment you agree with, your platform cannot positively serve me. Then it says, I actually thought the Cynthia G comment was directed towards me. That's why I deleted it. Once it was directed towards you. I don't operate that way. Nonetheless, I respect your decision. So I don't know what the Cynthia G comment was, but I think something may have gotten taken out of context. So the comment was deleted. But she offered to explain what she meant and further give some education on what she was talking about. Then Chantelle Simone declined, but then turned around and interviewed an older man about it. So it says holding men accountable for the 40s and 50s. It kind of went too far with it. So the whole back and forth exchange was just kept going and going and going. So instead of her interviewing TJ Randolph on what kind of information she wanted to share, she decided to bring a older guy on here and interview him on his views on holding men accountable for the 40s and 50s. that was going to align with agreeing with what all the other men wants him to say. Which I agree that all families don't have abuse in it. All men are not abusive, but there are some men and some women that are abusive. And those things do need to be talked about, because if you can see what's going on out here, if you can see what just happened with Jay Black, if you can see what just happened with the guy that was recorded by the woman that he threw against the wall, if you can see about the mother that killed all her children, all of this stuff is going on out here. So we can't just not talk about it, or we can't just make things fit our narrative just to fit our channels, just to please the people on our channels if we're trying to get real results. But right here, it went a little bit further. TJ talked to the lead attorney about his thoughts about Chantelle Simone, which he said that he didn't know who she was, but at the same time, he was in her comment section on some of her live videos. I'm just going to leave it at that. But he went more on holding TJ Randolph accountable than holding Chantelle Simone accountable, which I think that both of them could have handled it a little bit better. And I think that being that she's a femininity coach and TJ Randolph is a married woman, she could have gave her the space to talk and see what she had to say to educate younger women about things that she know that a lot of single younger women may not know about. And she didn't give her that opportunity. And so it goes all the way back to, should pick-me's give dating advice? Who do we know are the real ones or the fake ones? How do you know if they're genuine or not? It all goes back to that. Because when we're operating in a space where we're being picky, or we're clicking up, or we're saying, I don't know you, I don't deal with you, then it takes away from being genuine. But let's go ahead and hear what the lead attorney had to say. And then I'm going to go ahead and get to the video where Chantelle Simone was kind of throwing jabs at April Mason to prove her point, as far as saying that her eggs are powdered, she's old, she's a snake, she's a liar, and all this other stuff.
Well, I'll just say that I think it's a fair statement, but I'm not sure. I didn't hear anything that you said that I didn't feel was a fair statement either. So I'm not sure you guys are talking about the same thing, or maybe I'm missing it.
Well, I'm not sure either, and I found it interesting. And just so you know, I wrote to her and I said, I wonder why she didn't put the entire exchange where she called me, that she feels sorry for old women like me, etc. And I invited her. I said, welcome varying points of view. And I invited her on to call in tonight so we can discuss further, or maybe do a collaboration. And she declined, which is totally her right. But what I find interesting, as I'm learning in these YouTube spaces, people twist stuff. What I asked was that she still did not really, in my opinion, if she did, please square me away, that she still did not answer. I asked, what does Miss Mason's account of what she saw her mother experience equate to shaming all men?
Yeah, is that what she said? Did she say that April Mason's account of her mother equated to shaming of all men? Did she say that?
In the first video.
You have to be super nice just so that the tone isn't perceived by the other person as being aggressive or being an attack. And I see that in myself, because sometimes people will write me and I will be like, why are you writing me this comment with such an aggressive tone?
This also stemmed from this video that says, fake femininity exposed. April Mason deceived me as well. Now, if you look at the title, if you look at the thumbnail, you'll see a thumbnail of a snake. It says, fake femininity exposed. April Mason deceived me as well. Is this your femininity coach? And if you look on a picture, it says, is this your femininity coach? And it has a picture of a snake behind April Mason's head. And in the video, she's talking about some type of movie that she watched where the guy said, is this your new leader? And she was comparing April Mason to that part of the movie Is this your new coach? You know, making certain type of jokes about it. But it reminded me, I'm going to get to the parts where she was saying about the powdered eggs and stuff like that. But if you look at the Lapeef network, Status, Money, Boundaries, and Femininity, the Lapeef Let's Talk show, there was a short version of this done. And I think it was labeled something like Chantelle Simone speaks up about being the pick me situation or whatever, being a pick me. I can't remember what the topic was, what the title was, but it was something along the lines of standing up for herself, being called a pick me. So I'm going to go ahead and let you listen to this and what she has to say, but then how it kind of contradicts how she is talking about another woman. You see what I'm saying?
Doesn't matter if I'm married or not. I didn't get my desired results at 30. Why are y'all up in there in your feelings about Black girls walking through the same fire that I walked through? Should I just stand there and not say anything just because I'm not married yet? And people like you guys, no disrespect, but people like you two are why our Black men aren't lining up to marry us. Straight, no chaser. I'm so sorry if they come off as disrespectful on your platform, Lapeef, Anton, Chicago. Shout out to you guys, and I'm so sorry, Island Gal. I don't know you. I know Kay and Kayla from Monday. Just like straight up, look in the mirror, man, and do some work, because from Monday's conversation, we shouldn't even be having name calling, talking about pick-me's or anything. Like, come on, it's disgraceful. It's embarrassing. We need to do better as Black women. Any questions or anything before I have?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with her.
I mean, how?
Great. I just want to thank you, Chantelle, for doing the thing that Kay wouldn't.
Now you hear the passion behind how people, I guess, was calling her a pick-me, and how she says she has a right to tell her story, even though she's still single at 30 and she's not married yet. She still has a right to do that. But then in the same breath, in another video, she's saying that a lot of women are too old, or their eggs are dried and powdered up, and they have no right to tell people their story. So it's kind of hypocritical to say that another person, because they don't fit the category that you're looking for, can't tell their story. And also, she said that you shouldn't be shaming women. You shouldn't be putting down women. You shouldn't be calling them pick-me's. You shouldn't be doing all of that when you are trying to relay a message, or you're trying to display your femininity or whatever. And then we have Anton Daniels here, the instigator, the provoker, that kind of puts these women in competition, because you hear he says that, Chantelle, you did the very thing that this woman over here wouldn't do. And I think that, I know that for the show, you kind of have to do that. You got to kind of cook. That's what they say, they be cooking. You got to kind of stir up something just to arise some excitement or some intensity out of the show. So I get what he's trying to do. I get what Anton is trying to do, because if he doesn't do that, the show might be boring. You see what I'm saying? But in real life, men shouldn't provoke or instigate or put women at competition and then not expect a reaction. I'm not going to provoke my children. I'm not going to provoke my husband. I'm not going to say, well, this woman this man doing something better than you. I'm going to talk to you about what my problems is, and then we can come to a solution and help other people come to a solution. But if I provoke you and push your buttons and act like I don't know what you're talking about all the time, that's going to arise some type of intensity. That's going to arise some type of negativity out of you, or some type of frustration out of you. And a lot of times that's what I see is going on. I see that he arises frustration out of certain women and then hold other women to a certain standard, because they're put in a certain category to where they're saying the same thing that you're saying. But in real relationships, it don't work out that way. When two people come together behind the scenes, women and men are still going to disagree. There's still going to be arguments. There's never going to be a relationship that doesn't have an argument in it between a man and a woman, no matter how much work you do on yourself, or how much feminine you are, how feminine you are. Men and women are still going to argue, and they still going to disagree. But what happens when you disagree? But I played this because she said that women shouldn't do that.
Walk straight, no chaser. I'm so sorry if they come off as disrespectful on your Platform Lapeef, Anton, Chicago. Shout out to you guys. And I'm so sorry, Island Gal, I don't know you. Monday, just like straight up, look in the mirror, man, and do some work, because from Monday's conversation, we shouldn't even be having name calling, talking about pick-me's or anything. A true feminine woman would not go after two men like that. Two men with Kevin have over 1 million subscribers and lead attorney page is growing. All right. People are telling her, no, you're 46. You don't have the top pick. You can't just choose whatever man you want whenever you feel like. Focus on your business, become the CEO. Don't focus on a man. When you're all washed up, dried up, your eggs are powdered, then you can go out and just choose a man for dirty laundry. She would not pick fights with a man in public. There isn't a lot of them. The only other person that I used to watch was Rebecca Lynn Pope. She revealed herself being that snakeful woman that she is, disrespecting well, like, if you're not going to respect anybody in the space, you respect Kevin Samuels and you respect the lead attorney. Even the
Okay, you heard that. She said that the Rebecca Lynn Pope being the snakeful woman that she was. She said that April Mason is old and her eggs is dried up. She said that Kevin Samuels got a lot of million followers and the lead attorney is working his way up too. And if you don't respect anybody else, you respect them. She gave a shout out. Hold on. She gave a shout out to all of these three men and said that these two women need to work on themselves. So what is the pattern we're seeing here? It all goes back to this conversation right here and what they was talking about as far as being genuine, as far as, the women in the space and what they're trying to teach and what they're trying to present. It all goes back to Reva saying that married women need to start speaking up. It all goes back to TJ Randolph wanting to have a conversation and being turned down. It all boils down to a lot of women that are femininity coaches in the space are battling other women and turning down other women and forming their own cliques against other women to cater to men, because that's who's paying them. And that's why a lot of women, and I'm going to give some advice, because this is how it looks on the outside looking in. On the outside looking in, when women see this, because they don't initially just say, I don't want to follow these women, or they're initially not jealous and they're not saying, I don't want to follow these women, or they're not wanting to hear what they got to say. I've had my share of women coming at me, calling me pick me, calling me man me, and I've also had men calling me a certain thing. I just did a live stream about men and women in the modern world wanting traditional values, and the man commented under my post and didn't even watch the video and just assumed that I was talking about Black men. He responded, he said, another Black woman complaining about a Black man. And I said, did you even watch the video? And he said, no, but that's what majority of all of you guys do. So that's assuming. This is what we're going through. We're going through life based off of assumption. Just because you're a Black woman and the title doesn't match up, or the thumbnail doesn't match up, you're assuming that I'm talking about Black men. And that's why the space is the way it is now. It's not because people aren't speaking up. It's because a lot of people are just kind of childish out here. And a lot of people are not revealing the truth. I mean, I'm just putting my 2 cents in here because I have a right to speak up on things just like everybody else. But I just think that as a femininity coach, women should be teaching women about how to be feminine. Like one of the guys said on Lapeef, he said that being submissive and being feminine is different. He said that a submissive woman is submissive to her husband.
Why is she hanging out with single women in the first place? Again, it comes back to the fact that whatever she's doing.
I can't find the video, but it was a guy on Lapeef. He said that women are supposed to be submissive to their husband, and they're supposed to already be feminine. They're already supposed to carry that feminine trait in them. And that's not something that's supposed to be turned on and off. So as a femininity coach, we should be teaching women how to carry themselves, how to be ladylike when it comes to language, being respectful and kind to one another, teaching them how to sit like a lady, educating them on sexualization and the dangers behind it, teaching them how not to manipulate and provoke men, teaching them how to lose weight rather than talk about their weight, meal preps, telling them to check their hormonal balances when it relates to weight gain, hormonal imbalances, teaching them what hormonal imbalances is, teaching them about their monthly, the best birth control to use, protecting themselves, breastfeeding, waiting to get pregnant before marriage, nutritional options. Teach them how they can approach their husband about how they can help them lose weight when it relates to them eating healthy with them, going to the gym with them, getting memberships. At least in the manosphere, in the red pill sectors, they mention this stuff. They may do a lot of other toxic things, but they still mention to the men what they need to do to become better and healthy and fit. But with the women, it's like a money grab, a repeat of the same talking points. You have to seem like you don't like Black women in order to fit in with the Black male space as it relates to men's problems with us. But femininity coaches can be teaching women about their bodies, teaching women how to raise their children, teaching them how to act and be feminine, teaching them about menopause, a lot of things that we go through as women that doesn't even get talked about, because the same things are being talked about from men as it relates to women, when men don't even know anything about women's bodies, our moods, our triggers, or our hormonal differences. All of that plays a role in mood and aggression as well when it comes to hormonal balances, when it comes to balancing things out, when it comes to menopause, hot flashes, and and all the things that comes along with that. People are twisting femininity and masculinity up, assuming that if a person gets frustrated, they're masculine. We all get frustrated. A man could get mad as well as a woman can get mad. If two people argue, that doesn't make the woman masculine. It doesn't make the man even less masculine. It means that two people are frustrated and they can't get their point across, and that's normal. But what elaboration are we going to teach people on how to alleviate that? How to have better communication? How to argue without hitting below the belt? Or are we just going to keep name calling and saying that everything is about Black women and Black men? Are we going to keep stereotyping and judging people off of their looks and their demeanor and their tone, and base that on their character? Because like a lot of these women said in their previous videos, people can put on a good face, can smile in front of the camera, and can tell you what you want to hear, but we don't know what they do in their real lives. And that's just some advice that I want to give to femininity coaches that are getting traction out there, that you can talk about some of the things that relates to women and what we go through to help them become more feminine, to help them get checked out at gynecologists, at different places that relates to their body and their hormones and their health, that can help them better and elevate their moods, their attitudes, and how they can identify what the problems that's going on in their life, whether they made mistakes or not. We can't really go back and change that, but we can help better their situation to help raise their kids right, to find a better mate, and how to be with that person without being manipulative, so everybody can get the best outcome. But I just don't see that happening out here. And I think everybody has room to learn and grow and take accountability for themselves, and nobody's exempt for that. No one person is better than the other person. And that's kind of what I see out here when I see people are putting people on a pedestal, thinking that certain people are better than other people, and picking what category of people should teach or who shouldn't teach, and kind of eliminating the married and older people because we don't really want to hear what they got to say. That's what I'm seeing. In real life, even we don't want to hear what they got to say because they're saying the right things. But a lot of times we don't listen to them and we live our life. We do what we want to do. We think we have all the answers and we go through BS and we learn from ourselves. And what do? We sit there and be like, dang, I should have listened. But that's all I got to say. I just wanted to give that advice, put that out there.